That's kind of like, I can relate to it because that's how I started. It was like, it wasn't aim, fire, shoot. It was shoot, fire, aim. Aim was the last one, like, but as you become more aware, you're going to put better planning in. But there is no plan that you have that's going to guarantee your success. And when you make a commitment, you're walking into the unknown, but we're not guaranteed for success. Then we keep activating the courage, and the courage activates it. And that's what's going to happen. So I want you to observe the resistance, because I told you yesterday, 1A and 1B, present results and resistance. I think the resistance is holding people back more than present results. Now, all of you have a business, and I want you to think of how you see your team. I want you to think of how you see your team. Because the best form of leadership is not to see them as they are, but to see them as they can be. That's the best form. Wendell's a good example on our team. Like, he went through our coaching program, had a massive change, and he came to me and he said, I want to work with you. And I said, talk to Monica. And I was neutral about it, and then he didn't do the work. So I called him and I said, you're not going to make it on my team because you're not the standard. And then I pissed him off by saying that. And then it motivated him. And out of anybody on my team, he has the least amount of experience. He's doing something completely different, and now he's killing it. And I'm so proud of him because he was willing to fail. And it is a completely different environment coming in my team and our team and how we do things to his old life in a small town. But that's why you can never judge anybody. You can't judge heart. And when somebody has heart, that's who you work with. But I think you guys should leave this room saying, I'm done with resistance. I'm done holding back. And I say I want this. Then I have this rule. I was telling some people I was talking to outside. If you're not willing to change, then don't complain about it. Like, if you really want what you want, then do whatever it takes, because that's what it's going to take. There's nobody who's created great success who hasn't failed miserably along the way. Nobody. And I've never done what you do, but I know it. That's why I can help so many people who are in real estate, because I know the behaviors. I am not doing women's hormonal therapy and what China does, right? But I know how to help her because it's the same thing. I just look at the goal. You guys tell me the goal, and I can find out the process through asking the right questions. So that's what we have to start doing. But I want you to start learning from it, and I want you to sprint towards it. This is what I have to do. Okay, I'm going to do it. And then you knock it out one at a time. One at a time. You don't say, well, I'm going to commit a year from now. It's right now is where you make the change. And when you let the resistance win, you just tapped into your weaker self. So we want to shift that. Now, I want to share this with you. And because this became quite evident to me yesterday, so I put a few things together for you all, is, when we look at our goal, like Question said it the best, because I think it's the most critical part, is we have to be willing to fail at our future self than succeed at our present self. But what that's going to demand is explosive thinking. What is explosive thinking? It's thinking with a purpose. It's thinking with confidence. That's what explosive thinking is. It's constantly thinking from the end, not to the end. So when you are aware that the present results are controlling you, that's when you shift. That's when you shift. And that's what we want to start looking at. So I was talking out there. I said, Arash, I get emotionally triggered here, so that would be the opposite of explosive thinking. That would be just reacting. So we've got to get our emotional state super calm. Oh, thanks. Super calm. And when you are getting triggered by the emotion is when you need to take a 5-minute break. Don't keep getting more involved in that. Don't keep focusing on the problem, or else you're going to create more of the problem. Because what's going to happen is you're going to start pushing, not pulling. And when you push, what are you doing? You're using your mechanical mind. You're using 2 to 4% of your power. So you're leaving 96 to 98% of your power shut down, and then you're wondering why you're not achieving the goals. You're wondering why. So you have to look at that. Now, work is about what it's doing for us rather than what it's doing to us. We want to go do what we love. I told you this yesterday. If you're not doing what you love and loving what you're doing, you're not going to be excellent. No matter how much you want extra income, the income comes from doing what you love. So what is your relationship? For you, it'd be, what is my relationship to prospecting? Now, I don't think you have a bad relationship with it.
No, I don't either.
You know, I think you do. You have to change your relationship with prospecting. You have to change it until you love it. Until you love it. Because guess what? If I don't love prospecting, I'm not going to do it. But if that's going to get me to 1 billion on my books, that's my goal, that's what I have to do. And I'm telling you, you're going to have to do things you don't want to do. That's called discipline. But most people are prisoners. They don't love what they do. They don't think about creating great work. They do just enough to get their needs fulfilled. They do just enough. I'm going to do just enough to get by. They want more, but they say, no, I'm not good enough. Instead of training themselves to become the best version of themselves, they accept that idea. They accept it. See, every time we shrink to one of our resistance, we lost that moment. Doesn't mean you can't win the next moment. Doesn't mean you can't learn from it. But your greatest resistance is what you have to do right away. It's not procrastinating. You know, and that's for you, Raz. We want, the only 3 words I want you to think about all day long is do it now. Do it now. Do it now. And first thing I'm going to tell you in 2 weeks when I message you, I'm going to say, how are you doing with it? You know, because guess what? When you leave here, the old program's going to come back. So you have to be super hyper intentional on what you guys are all going to commit to with leaving. Now, I told you this. Go ahead. Well, people are looking at their goals wrong. They're looking at it's one action that's going to get their goal. And it's not. It could be 700. It could be 1,500. You know, but when you look at a big forest tree, you don't chop it down with one swing. You do it over and over again. And that's what happens. But deliberate practice is something you all have to make a part of your identity if you want to win. If you want to win. You want to practice your presentation until you're so good at it. You're going to change your confidence in the same moment. Every time you practice it, you're getting better and better and better. And that's going to change. So I want you guys to all write down, what is my one skill that I am going to install deliberate practice between now and the end of the year? And that means you're going to do it every day, 5 days a week. 5 days a week. And if you do that and understand, it's going to be easy for you to go back to what your strengths are, but you can't succumb to it. Your strengths are already your identity. Now, if you start understanding this 10,000 hour rule, what do you do after you're great at something? You get better and better and better. The most excellent people keep getting better. I always use Kobe Bryant as an example. He would be done with a game at 11 o'clock at night, but he'd be at the gym at 3 in the morning. He was the best in the world at his craft. Wasn't good enough. He understood this. What's after the 10,000 hour rule? What's after it? And not just in basketball, in everything he did. He understood it. He is a great example of this. But every elite performer is. I remember one of the first times I went to speak on stage. I was with my mentor, and he said, let's practice your presentation in my suite. And so I went in his suite, and I said, what time did you get up this morning? He said, 3:30. I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm practicing what I'm going to do today. I said, how many times have you done it? He said, I'm still not good enough. And he would practice it over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, And that is what we have to do. See, the amateurs practice until they get it right. The pros practice until they can't get it wrong, and then they practice it even more. And that's what you have to look at. That's the law of compensation, your ability to do it. It is your ability to do it. See, and we can't get distracted. We can't get distracted to say, oh, I've achieved this goal. That doesn't change your focus on getting better at what you do. People are chasing money. They have it backwards. Money is an effect. It's not the cause. Your beliefs are the cause. The skill set is the cause. You focusing on service is the cause. Now, this leads right into nobody's going to earn a lot of money until they decided to do. Until they decided to do so, they're not going to earn a lot of money. No one's going to have deliberate practice if they don't have a big goal. And some of your goals may be perfect for you guys. I'm not here to set your goals. I may encourage you to do it bigger, but you never get attached to the goal. You already think of the outcome like it's already done. Like it's already done. That's what you do. But we have to start understanding how important these next few slides are to your business. The 80-20 principle says that if we doubled our time on the top 20% of activities, we could work a 2-day work week and achieve 60% more. But if I ask you guys that, do you know what those are? See, we have to know that as a business owner. We have to know that. Or else all we're doing is reacting, and we're leaving a lot of opportunities on the table. We're leaving a lot of opportunities on the table. Now, leverage is what's going to create your freedom. There is no freedom without leverage. There is none without leverage. Whenever I'm at our world-class wealth event, I always tell people, my whole life is leverage. I've gotten to a point, but it started with one thing. I think it started with hiring a cleaning lady first, when we didn't have the money. But I knew the importance of it. And it just started adding and adding and adding. Kieran asked me last night, he goes, what time's your flight? I said, I have no idea, because we're going to New York tomorrow. I said, I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't book any of my flights. Everybody manages me, is the truth. Mikey does, Veronica does, Nicole does. I think my kids do too. But I just focus on what I want to focus on. And that's why you have to understand, when you leverage the 80%, so your 80% that you want to eliminate doesn't mean you don't need it in your business. It means you give it to somebody else to do. You give it to somebody else, and you let that be their big idea. That's going to be something they're going to feel special about. And that's going to allow you to work on your 20%. Now, if you don't leverage the 80% or you don't eliminate it, if it's unnecessary in your business, you eliminate it. But if you don't leverage or eliminate it, guess what? How are you going to work on your top 20%? How are you going to even think about your top 20%? I want you all to think about this. How often, before you came in this room, were you working on your business? I want you to really think about it. How many hours in a day are you working on your business instead of in it? Most people, zero. Most entrepreneurs, zero. Why do you think they have cash flow problems? Because if we're not constantly working with bigger ideas and keep transforming our identity of our business, nothing's going to change. So if you don't have leverage, you're never going to create great wealth. If you don't have leverage, you're never going to create great wealth. All of you have opportunities. I told you one of the first things I would do is hire an executive assistant. First thing, that's leverage. I would get somebody to be really good at selling. I'd get somebody really good. And I want you to eliminate that I'm just going to do it harder. I'm going to do it harder. That's never going to create a 10x jump. That's going to create 1x, maybe 1.5 to 2. But it's going to take a lot of time. And then you're going to lose your passion for what you do. Now, leverage the areas of your business that no longer fuel your soul. There's some areas. Like if you look at your leadership, there's some things you don't like to do. And you don't want to do, but you're doing them, right?
Correct. Yes.
See, that's what we want to eliminate. Maybe we give it to another leader on your team or give it to somebody else. That's what you want to think about. And this allows you to focus on what you love doing in your business. See, I am a terrible manager, but I'm a great leader. I'm a terrible manager. I would be doing a disservice if I was managing people. But I love inspiring. I love holding the image. I love training them. They're two different things, managing and leading. And so once you start understanding that, then you have somebody else manage it, in whatever department that is. But you have to get to know yourself. We want to always think about how you can grow your business. How can I grow my business? Like Roz, for you, it's getting the right people on your team. It's creating the right structure. It's getting clear on your pricing. That's how you're going to do it. And then focus working on your business every day. Like put it in your calendar that this hour is going to be working on my business. Just an hour. Start with an hour. And then as you leverage yourself more, you're going to spend more time working on your business. Working on it. Mike, how long do you think we work on a week on our business?
5 to 10 hours.
5 to 10 hours, at least. I'm not looking at present results. I'm looking at processes more than I am results. Because I know if the processes are upgraded, the results are going to be upgraded. I'm aware of the results, so I don't have to look at them. Mikey will tell me, we've done this so far, this revenue, but I'm more interested in thinking what can we do to upgrade? So when you're always thinking about upgrade, not what is, now you're working on your business. Most business owners are just reacting to the results. They're just reacting. And they say, I don't like the results. Well, you're putting all the attention on it. How can you create new results? Now, whatever grows you, say yes to. And then whatever contracts you, say no to. Like if it's going to grow you, say yes to it. If it's not going to grow your business, say no to it. Don't just do it because you're comfortable. We have to all understand this. It's going to sound so simple, but it's so profound if you understand this. What got you to here is not going to get you up to here. So that's what we have to keep transforming ourselves. That's why we don't drink our Kool-Aid. That's why we want to keep looking at what do I really want? Where do I want my business to grow to? Now, I want you to burn this slide in your mind, because to grow your business, you have to upgrade your value. I want you to identify, when we get in mastermind groups, I'm going to have you guys do this today. But I want you to identify areas you can upgrade your skill set. What is that one skill set you can upgrade? And then set clear, defined skill set goals. These are the goals that I'm going to work on with my skill set. And you always invest in mentorship because that is going to constantly upgrade you. That's going to constantly upgrade you. And you're going to start adopting it when you understand it. But then practice your craft more than you are performing it. Like I want you to be so good at the law of compensation, your ability to do it. Everyday practice in private where nobody sees you, where nobody is seeing you. Like practice how you would prospect to people, Kevin. Whereas practice how you're going to communicate to the parents. Like practice it. Jenna, practice your leadership. Don't just do it, practice it. So by the time you do it, it's going to be really locked in. And then leverage other elite performers' mindsets and strategies. There's people in this room that you guys are going to connect to that I encourage you to keep in touch with. Leverage what they've done. Now, own your identity. Whatever your goal is, that is your identity. From this point on, from this very point. Now, Jeremy, I think of you. Yesterday you told me I want to do 1 billion, yet your identity up there didn't tell me that.
That was my biggest takeaway, was I have to, my identity has to revolve around that.
I think the biggest takeaway for me with you love making it hard. That was my biggest takeaway. Like, you love suffering, right?
I would concur.
Yeah, like you love suffering. You're more committed to suffering than you are committed to achieving your goals. We just got to simplify it in your mind. If it's simple, I just do this, this, and this, then there is no suffering. So your definition yesterday of assigning a level of difficulty before you start.
That's the suffering?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're not accepting ideas. So you're saying, well, let me make sure, I don't know, like you were very resistant up there yesterday. You were very resistant to ideas. So in my opinion, you were very uncoachable yesterday. So you want to look at that not as a bad thing, as an awareness. When I would work with my mentor, and I think I'm a great example of this, and I always brag about this because in my opinion, I had such a tremendous mentor, but I was a great student. I mean, he would have me do things that would blow you away uncomfortable. Blow you away uncomfortable. I just did it right away. But most people are coachable up to their comfort zone. But the real people are coachable regardless of their comfort zone. The real transformers. And that's what I want you to think about. Let's upgrade your level of coachability and then come from my identity, not yours. You think I'd tell you to do something if I didn't believe in you? So you just have to believe in my belief. I think of Jenna was plateauing in the middle of the year. And I told her, you're about to create a quantum leap. She goes, what did you see? And she didn't believe me. And a couple months later, she created a quantum leap. She had her best month ever. And I saw it because she was doing the work. And I saw what was slowing it down because she was attached.
I did believe you.
You did believe me? Yeah. Yeah. But she asked me really good questions, though. She asked me a really good question, and she said, what are you seeing that I'm not seeing? I said, it's more what am I feeling? Like her emotional state switch. That's when I know a quantum leap is coming for myself or any client. I look at their emotional state, but the clients look at their results. I don't look at the results. The results are based on the past. The future results are based on their current emotional state. So that's what I'm most interested in. That's where, I could see Anne yesterday, the lights started turning on. They turned on. Her belief changed yesterday. Her knowingness. See, we have to go beyond belief to knowingness. Knowing is past belief. When you know, you have the faith where it's non-negotiable. It's not a fake non-negotiable. You just know that you know that you know. And that's what happened for her yesterday. But own your goal right now. This is my identity. I have already achieved this goal. And when you do that, that's going to change. But it's going to demand you to tap into that alternate identity. Tap into that best version of yourself. And when you do it, your identity will never waver. It's just what it is.